Thanks for tuning in to Red Belt Radio. The following episode is scheduled for one fall. I'm Jason, and this show is dedicated to World Wonder Ring Stardom. Today I'm covering the imminent roster shakeup, the impending change that has been promoted throughout Stardom's current faction war leading up to the Stardom pay-per-view, The Conversion, which takes place on June 22nd, 2024. Simply put, someone has got to go. And I'm going to present a few ideas about where the, quote, final showdown between Queen's Quest and Oedo Tai might lead. Conversion, noun. The act or process of converting. State of being converted. A change in character, form, or function. A change from one religion, political belief, viewpoint, etc. to another. If Stardom hadn't made it clear enough, the conversion is about to change things. Let's explore this. If you find these transmissions valuable, please give this a like, subscribe to the channel, or leave a comment to let me know what you think. Here's what we know. Queen's Quest and Oedo Tai have an extensive, bitter history in which each faction has caused the other to lose important members. They are currently embroiled in a feud which began when Saya Kamitani, who has recently been declaring herself faction leader, expressed interest in turning former leader of Queen's Quest, Momo Watanabe, away from her evil comrades and bringing Momo back to the side of good. This has expanded somewhat across multiple house shows and will culminate in some sort of alleged final showdown between the factions at Stardom's event, The Conversion, in which at least one person who loses the match will have to leave their faction altogether. The most recent update came from Stardom president Taro Okada, who had declared via Tokyo Sports and social media that this match cannot result in the disbanding of either faction entirely. And to that, I say, good call. Keeping these factions around at a time like this makes all the sense in the world. These are legacy factions with at least 5 members apiece, dedicated fans, signature merch, and clear identities. During an era where Stardom is working to reestablish a sense of order and stability, dissolving an entire faction and casting out 5 or more wrestlers into roster limbo is neither a wise nor manageable play to be making. So if disbanding a faction can't happen, what can? One aspect of this we simply cannot ignore are the people involved. QQ's Azumi and Saya Kamitani are both climbing the ranks and making promising career moves. Azumi has made multiple appearances in big matches in the US this year, including a television performance on AEW Collision. She's also being featured multiple times on the All Together series, presumably to a largely non-Stardom audience. Saya Kamitani is enjoying a singles title reign as Stardom's high-speed champion and is off to a strong start in Pro Wrestling Wave's Catch the Wave tournament as well. As usual, she's been evolving her moveset, and with the recent change to her gear and color palette, she is setting herself up very well as one of the most anticipated wrestlers going into this year's 5-star Grand Prix. I said all of that to say, I don't think the Queen's Quest faction is big enough for the both of them. Not anymore. Both Azumi and Saya Kamitani are talented and popular enough to be running their own factions, and I have a suspicion that this might be where Stardom agrees with me. Let's put that on the back burner and discuss one of the other people involved in this mess, Momo Watanabe. If there is one thing that Momo has demonstrated between last year and now, it is her connection with Saya Kamitani. Much of Momo's 2023, in fact, was dedicated to putting Saya over in the most conspicuous ways possible. In February of 2023, Momo directly lost in the match that allowed Saya to overtake her white belt title defense record. In June, Momo was personally dispatched when Saya used her own baseball bat against her, placing an exclamation point on Stardom's best battle of 2023. And in December, both Momo and her boss Natsuko Tora were simultaneously pinned in what probably should have been the end of the feud between modern Queen's Quest and modern Oedo Tai. But in spite of everything, the feud continues, and it's possible that Momo's connection to Saya is a big part of why that is. Momo Watanabe was the first opponent Saya Kamitani ever faced in Stardom, and it just seems likely that the two are somewhat close behind the scenes. The result of the match on June 22nd could very well turn these two wrestlers into teammates once again. It's time for us to zoom out and look at Stardom's larger roster. One of the things working quite well, in my opinion, is the fact that the units are close to perfectly balanced in terms of faction size, championship viability, variance in personalities, and variance in wrestling styles. But there is one glaring deviation to take note of: the number of unaligned wrestlers. You could say there are almost enough unaligned wrestlers to form a brand new faction. With just one or two additions, Stardom could round out its entire stable and inject upcoming second half of 2024 with a bit more energy. This is conjecture to the fullest, but Starlight Kid has taken an awfully long time to commit to anyone in particular, and all of the other factions are well stocked, with 5 or 6 members already. Kid is a belt holder, at least right now, and is popular enough to either lead or second a brand new team. If this is in fact what Stardom has up its sleeve, the most likely configurations are Momo Watanabe plus the unaligned wrestlers, or Saya and Momo plus the unaligned wrestlers with Azumi leading Queen's Quest, or Azumi plus the unaligned wrestlers with Azumi as leader and Saya leading Queen's Quest, or lastly, Azumi and Momo plus the unaligned wrestlers. I'm conflicted about adding Starlight Kid to this equation because I also think she could be heading to Stars in order to help them out in the event that Mayu Iwatani leaves whenever her contract is up. But now that SLK is facing Azumi and Mei Seira in back-to-back weeks, I am not at all going to be surprised if these matches dovetail into some kind of new alliance. What changes to the Stardom roster are you expecting, hoping for, or dreading? Is this going to be the type of conversion that helps or harms? If you found this transmission valuable, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, or leave a comment to let me know what you think. Thanks for listening to Red Belt Radio.